And here you can see the mortgage-backed security market going back until February 13th of 2017, so going back a little over 5 years. Over the course of these last 5 years, you can see some dramatic shifts in the mortgage-backed security market, the MBS market. Of course, here, these are the midterm elections halfway through Trump's term. Then, of course, over here, we have the initial shock to interest rates that came as a result of the initial COVID lockdown announcements. That's this red here. Red is a decline in mortgage-backed security prices, which translates to an increase in mortgage rates. So initially, when COVID lockdowns were announced, that was really bad for both the stock market and our market. And you can see things got very bad very quickly here in March 2020. And then immediately things recovered to a much better level due to the announcement of the government stimulus and assistance programs, including the checks that were cut to taxpayers, the foreclosure and eviction moratoriums, as well as the assistance to small businesses through the PPP, through the SBA programs, and the rally in the stock market that came shortly thereafter. So this is that reaction to the government assistance after the COVID lockdowns. Rates just got to one of their historically lowest levels immediately after that due to all this government assistance and, frankly, the printing of money. Made money very cheap during the beginning of the COVID crisis. Through 2020, things stayed fairly flat. And then, of course, we see another improvement in early 2021, which is when the government announced the second round of stimulus and assistance and a continuation of some of those moratoriums. That's what you see here. And things trended fairly evenly through 2021. So you can see this is why in 2020, during COVID and all through 2021, there was a refi boom. Money was very cheap. And it's also what is driving home prices so high right now. Money was cheap and people were interested in having a space of their own due to the COVID lockdowns. So there was a lot of demand for home ownership. Money was cheap. So, of course, prices went up. And it was a very stable rate environment, as you can see from late March 2020 through the end of October of 2021, it was more than a year and a half of stability. If we zoom in the last 6 months, we can see that that stability has ended ever since the beginning of the year, since January of 2022. Rates have worsened dramatically. And you can see here that February 10th was one of the worst days we've had in a long time. So, of course, rates are trending upwards now. And this is the trend for the foreseeable future. We're going to see worsening in the mortgage-backed security market, which translates to higher rates.